Hello, happy Friday. My name is Michael Leeserman here with the Trial Guide's tip of the day. It is April 26, 2024. Our tip today comes from David Ball on Damages 3, and here to read it is none other than David Ball himself. Hello, David.
Thank you, Michael. How are you today?
Wonderful.
Very brief quote today. In voir dire, identify and remove prospective jurors who have trouble with intangible damages.
Okay, so this seems wise. Intangible damages, they're usually pain and suffering, I think we're talking about.
All the non-economic. Yeah.
Non-economics. So good advice. How do we do it? How do you identify them?
Well, I think the more important thing is why this is so important. How to do it that's in that chapter. But
buy the book. If you don't have this book, what are you doing? Go buy it. This is classic.
Intangible means does not touch. Tangible means touch. A tangent in whichever branch of math it is the line that just, there's no physical contact. This is important not just for the obvious reason that they'll give you a smaller non-economic damages verdict, but it also signals jurors who have been affected by tort reform, jurors who don't like this whole business of large verdicts. It identifies problem jurors. There may be, this is a bit glib, the quote, there may be other reasons to keep a juror like this, but be very, very careful, because if they walk in having trouble, not just with non-economic damages, which is bad enough in most cases, but what this signals is trouble with the whole concept of people suing each other, even if they don't say that. There's a resistance. There's a, hey, wait a minute. This is a problem juror. And if this juror is a leader, you could be led right down to a zero verdict. One of the easiest ways to find somebody like this is to ask how they feel about money for medical expenses and lost income, and then observe how that juror looks and sounds as they're giving you that answer. And then ask the same juror how they feel about money for pain and suffering. And don't cover up that phrase. You want to use the phrase pain and suffering. And if you get a different human being sitting there, and you will, money for medical expenses, that's fine. Money for pain and suffering, well, I wouldn't know how to do that. That's a danger sign. That's a danger sign. So be very careful with jurors like that. That's one of the very few things I would say. Those people are very likely to be terrible no matter what else, if this is what they really think.
Yeah.
Sure that they really think this.
And I want to give those jurors space. I know the way I've always done it is to physically stand in one part of the courtroom and to say, there are some people who would say it doesn't make sense to give money for pain and suffering and things we can't touch, not medical bills. And I don't want to belittle that. I want to make that seem like that's a legitimate view,
John
and there's,
Edwards.
Go ahead.
John Edwards taught me years ago, and I don't know if he invented this or it was somebody else's. He will say, some folks, my own mother, for example, will not give money for pain and suffering because she thinks it doesn't do any good. So why bother? Other folks think, yes, it should be. Are you a little closer to my mother or to other people? If you can do that credibly, and John could, it's a very powerful question, because bringing in your own mother gives them permission to give you the bad answer. It keeps you from belittling them, as you say, and that's a danger. You don't want to belittle a juror, even if you have no use for them, because the jurors you have use for are watching you. And also, you just don't want to belittle another human being. They didn't ask to be there. But it's a very simple point that I think gets lost in all of the study people do about how to do voir dire. They forget the very fundamental thing of this signals a juror who is not going to give you, or very unlikely to give you, a verdict of any substantial size, and who will have enough trouble with the whole process that you may not even get negligence when you should.
Yeah, I think if I get one question, this might be it. The idea of non-economic damages. I would say
sort of the way you and I just discussed it. Give them the comparison. Yeah, money for paying stuff or money for medical expenses, of course. Yes, if you can show that that's good XYZ, then yes. Money for pain and suffering. Well, let me think about that. I guess that's okay. You got a yes on both of them, but it ain't the same yes.
Yeah.
And that's you mark for
Thank you. And I want to say this, not just because you're on, I say this to to others. If you haven't, if you don't have ball and damage, get it. Many of us have it, but haven't opened it in a decade or years. Go through and read a passage a day. I mean, that's partly what we're doing with the tips of the day.
no.
There's such brilliance in this book, reminding us how powerful these simple ideas are, and lawyers get, I think, too complicated and forget about these basic things that make the difference between winning and losing.
They do. And we have such a tool. I don't want to turn this into an advertisement, but one of the things Trail Guides has done is taken such wisdom from so many of the best attorneys and consultants in the country. Not every single book on the shelf, but the vast, vast majority of them. There is so much there. And yes, you should know all of it and learn all because it will all help. But don't lose, like Michael just said, don't lose those basics. They're basics for a reason. The question, slightly different topic. What good will the money do? Which is almost totally ignored. That's the first question jurors ask. Why should we give them all that money? What good will the money do? What purpose will it serve? There's good answers to that.
And there's good answers in your book. You've given me good answers. Thank you. Go read.
The place to look at the best of the answers is in Damages Evolving, where I had the benefit of the Rowleys and Artemis Malachor doing answering those same questions, but not alone there. There's other books out there that the Trail Guides has. So everybody needs to write a thank you note to Trail Guides. It has literally changed what this business is all about. As long as you don't forget the most fundamental, simple things like this one.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your thoughts today.
Sure. Have a happy Friday, the 26th. I know the 26th is like a double 13th. So I'd be careful.
Let's take a deep breath together and be grateful to be alive this Friday. May the work that we do today help to reduce suffering in the world. May it help repair the world. May we fiercely and compassionately advocate for our clients. May we do so from a place of compassion and wisdom. I'm going to ring a bell 3 times now. This can take you into a meditation practice, a prayer practice, or just let the sound wash over you and remind you, it's Friday. Wake up. Go out, do good things, and have fun while you're doing it.